In the last video, I talked about it's better for us to wait until the dust is settled. When I say the dust is settled, I mean that using the marketing forces, supply and demand, and then we let them play with each other. And then when they have initial equilibrium, okay, and then that's the time for the institutions to kick in, because institutions tend to be just like the judge and the court, tend to be passive. They wait and they want for different parties to come to them instead of actively draw the rules and do the investigations like a French system. Okay. However, I insist on that point. That's a good point because we basically set up the sort of the orders. Market go first, and then institutions come later when the market is becoming mature. However, having said that, it's not the saying that we cannot make some predictions. Some predictions are pretty clear. So let's talk about a few predictions. The first one is that human and AI, which one goes first? I would say AI will be more adapting to humans rather than the other way around for two reasons. Number one, humans are highly diversified. Human population highly diversified. On the other hand, AI is, we have the same logic, similar algorithm behind and the similar training data. So even though different players may have, when you use the different players, the same questions, you might get a different answer, but not categorically, not a qualitative difference. So to that extent, the diversity of AI will be smaller than the human population. Two people may never get to agree on something, even just the two. Okay, but AI is much more homogeneous in that sense. The next point is humans are more sticky. It's very difficult for them to change their opinions and preferences and ideas. So, on the other hand, the AI is more flexible because they keep learning new things. It's very easy for them to update their thinking, update their ideas, even update their framework. So that's why, for these two reasons, diversity and adaptability, make the AI more likely to fit, to try to work with humans rather than humans work with AI. So that's one thing that I'm pretty sure that that's going to happen. Okay. The second thing is that the MIT professors are arguing, what is the between automations and collaborations, meaning that the humans working with AI. I think that the question is easy if you introduce the demand side into it, because when you look at the supplier side, you may always say, well, which one is better? Should we stick to the automation, which means a lot of people will losing job, or should we stick to the collaboration? But if you introduce, if you only look at the supply side, you may never settle. But with the demand side coming into the game, into part of the picture, then we can say, let the demand and the supply interact to play the game out. So that's one advantage. The second point that I want to make is that, with the demand and the supply, something we can predict even today. Number one, anything repetitive, boring, dangerous, and expensive. Those kind of the tasks are more likely to be changed by the AI, even in the near future. Why? Because this is good for everybody. Regardless, you may argue that repetitive and dangerous, boring, those tasks are not good for the workers, for employees, right? But what about the expensive tasks? Right now, we may have a job that is very expensive, very slow, very with very low in return. If you think about the benefit and cost, and then the ratio is pretty high. If you don't put the cost on the on the numerator and the benefit on the denominator, so basically saying that if you can make the expensive low low beneficial, low returns. Those tasks, if you can uh, improved by AI, that's more likely to be done. Okay. So at least so the second thing that we can predict. The third thing that I want to predict is that a lot of the people. Let's say use the example. Let's say there's a redneck. Okay, there's no offense, it's just no personal. I'm just saying that some people they may be slow, they may be the laggard in terms of adapting themselves to the to AI technology. They may not say much, they're just quiet. They're just staying out of the AI. They don't think that AI has anything to do with them. If nothing else, at least we're hurting them. However, those laggard, or for the lack of a expressions, let's call them a redneck. Okay, those redneck, they may seem to have no demand for AI, but actually they will become a demand for AI. That's the beauty of it. The demand side is very flexible. It can be very inclusive. So in the future, you might think that it's easy for you to think that well, it doesn't matter. Let those people laggard, let redneck, let them do the getting the UBI, basically universal basic income, right? However, let me issue one warning. If you look at the history, look at the globalization, you see the people, in this country, they, especially in the Rust Belt, basically we'll talk about the Ohio, Pennsylvania, and some Midwest, including even Wisconsin, where I used to be. But so the lesson that we can learn from globalization is that the companies shift all the job offshore, mostly in China or Southeast Asia. The direct consequence is that people lost their job. And then because of that, and the people become grumpy, people become, they're angry, they're complaining all the time, and they see no hope, they see no future. So what they ended up doing is that they go to use opioid. Okay, that's why, you know, uh, this time we talk about the 6 U.S. soldiers, service members, died in the battlefield. But you know how many people died of the drug abuse? Um, I don't have the number, but I'm sure you can find out. But actually, the trend is going down a little bit, but still very much bigger number than the 6 service members here. We may the number that I heard is could be like 9 million people or 6 million people. So and a lot of people, so many people, so many more people died from the drug overdose. Okay, then what we lost in the battlefield. It's really sad to see this kind of a trend. But the good news is that we are getting better. Let's stop here and do that next time.